Hello, Danny Apple. It is it's Christmas Eve. It's the 24th of December, 2021. Um, a week, a week ago, not this week, this just passed, although I actually was scheduled for it too. So 2 weeks ago from this date, I was asked by a friend on a Sunday night to bail her out, and she needed really help on a movie, a low budget movie that's being shot. And didn't really want to do it, but she's a friend, so I figured I should step up and help her out. And here's a funny story that came out of all that. So I was asked to work, from that date for all that week, and then all this week, and then with the shooting ending on the 23rd. Um, so actually, so 2.5 weeks. Anyways, so the because they had nobody. I ended up being asked to do three different jobs in one. Literally, two of them being actually pretty much all three of them being in different locations at the same time, which of course is impossible. So no matter what, I was pissing someone off and pleasing someone, but not pleasing myself. The show was called Colorblind. I don't know if they're actually they'll probably have to finish it at a later date because I'll get into that towards the end. But they didn't shoot their final days. So the first week I'm working, Monday was easy. It was just an 8-hour day and kind of getting orientated to what was going to be expected of me. I got asked to drive the locations truck as well as hold down the circus as well as hold down the main part at the movie shoot. And the location trucks involved picking up stuff for deliveries and stuff, which, in Vancouver, just being shot in Vancouver, just, heading down Hastings to get underneath the bridge to this trucking outfit was never quick and easy. And they were a business, business. They were very busy and actually quite often got mad at me when I showed up, verbally mad at me. And one time they maybe go park on the street for half an hour and then come back. So I drove down the street a block, found a parking spot for the truck, and sat there. In the meantime, my phone's going off like crazy. Where are you? Where's our stuff? We need you back. Blah blah blah. It was pretty awful. so so then the next days we're all the movie shoots for 12 hours. Right? The camera is shooting for 12 hours. So locations, you got to be there before to set up, and you got to be there after to take down. And on top of that, we had security that wasn't scheduled very well. So it also involved, some days coming in for an hour before I needed to start just to cover a hole in the scheduling for security on the trucks. So I did that, but I mean, there were like 15 hours, 15 and a half, 15 hours, 14. Uh, I don't have it in front of me, but 13, something, just an incredible amount of hours for a guy who hasn't worked in probably a year and a half, and not done this type of work for years, 10 years probably, because I didn't like it. PA is a very tough job in in the industry for starting early and ending late, and actually being treated like the lowest of the low. So everyone figures they can kind of abuse you. Here I am, 61, getting abused by some idiots. So I'm doing the work and doing it well. I'm getting paid decent. There was a $400 base for the 12 hours, and then it was supposed to be double time by the hour amount, which I calculated out was 33, so 66 an hour after that. So it's at least I'm getting paid. So the first week goes by, and people are quitting. The person that hired me and needed my help, she quit, but she quit after her boss quit. I stuck it out because there was a young girl there that was in over her head. Really nice lady, but actually not always nice. Sometimes she was pretty grumpy. But anyways, over her head, around the age of some of my daughters. So I kind of I can't desert her. Everyone else is deserting her. So I stuck it out, kept getting abused. And then at the end of the week, they we started replacing those people that had quit, and bringing in more PAs, which is what they needed to do. There wasn't enough of us to start with that first week. We literally couldn't cover all the spots. Like I said, I was trying to look after the circus. It's got all the expensive trucks and equipment sitting there. Basically begging the transport guys, because there was two of them, to keep an eye on things when I couldn't be there, and to call me when they were going to both be gone for a while, and I'd sneak over there and hang out there until they got back. Meanwhile, getting yelled at for not being at the other place anymore. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, I'm looking at the circus. Well, what's going on at the circus? Well, there's nobody here. Well, there's nobody there? No. Well, we have to have somebody at the circus. I said, yeah, that's why I'm here until the transport comes back. It literally was like that. So I get through that first week. I meet a new lady who I thought was replacing the lady I had, and she kind of barked at me right away. And I'd already heard she'd barked at the transport guy, and he was like just taken aback, and so I was like a little leery of her. And then she barked at me. I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" She's like, "You can't park here on the street. Oh, we're gonna find them." Blah, blah. And I'm like, "Well, legally I can." And I hedged it forward to get past the sign where you can't park, and legally this size truck. She, no, you're wrong. And I go, "No, I'm not. I just drove one for 4 or 5 years, exact same size, and I know where you can park." I said, "You're making this up." And she went quiet, but she wasn't happy with me. So I got to stay in the spot. It was when we'd done a move. Oh yeah, we did a move as well. And with the move, I was able, by hedging forward, I was able to keep the truck right where at the end of the night we'd be able to get our stuff out of there, because it was a small shoot in the evening in the grocery store, and we were hoping to only, because of expense, hold down the two places, the circus and the main prime location for where the shoots would be the following days. So and this was going over with a Sunday off too for everybody. So this was on the Saturday. So what I did was clever. We were able to start pulling stuff out as it was winding down that night, and not try to have it too late. So as we wind down that night, the lady I'd been trying to help, she decided that she could really take advantage of me, because they were going to cancel me for Monday because of my wage, I guess. And but so of course then they wouldn't have the truck to bring over all the stuff that had been stuffed back in the truck from that particular shoot. So she asked me to go back to the main set and help her and unload everything that she would need for the Monday, basically making it so that I was cheating myself out of about $500-600. And I'm like, yeah, okay, let's just do it. So I do that, and I go over to park the truck at the circus for the night, and all the seniors are sitting there, and they're making little songs and jokes and stuff. So I wasn't sure if they were being facetious, tongue-in-cheek, giving it to me, or were actually pleased with my work. I was hoping they were pleased with my work, but you never know, because I don't think they really knew what I was doing, all the stuff I was doing. Or at least they didn't want to recognize it, because they didn't want to pay me. So anyways, they quickly asked, "Oh yeah, you're back now, right?" I said, "Yeah, unloaded everything." They said, "Oh, what? Everything?" I said, "Yeah, you'll have your chairs, and you'll have your tanks, you'll have your lights, you'll have your, your everything. Garbage cans, all that stuff's all back." Oh yeah, we got rid of all the garbage and stuff from the other place too. And that was where the bin was as well. So I said, basically, we'll start clean on the Monday. He, "Oh, then we don't need a truck." "No, you're canceling me anyways." So then on the Monday, in the earlier late evening, like, I don't know, I can't remember, somewhere between 6 and 8, I get this call saying, "Well, we don't actually really need you for Tuesday either." So then I was like, okay, I'm glad you got some cheaper wages. I'm glad that everything's set up for you. I already blew off my kids for that weekend coming up, the 18th, for seeing them for Christmas. They're on the island. And I said, no, I'm going to try to get that rescheduled. So I'm gone. You guys are fine. You don't obviously need me or want me. You've used me pretty good for the week. You totally abused me. And let's see if I get paid. So there we go. So the lady that I was helping out, she said she'd grab the check for me. So she did, and she was supposed to mail it to me. But of course, she doesn't. She goes off on her Christmas thing into Kelowna, and it's sitting apparently on her counter at her house. And if I can get a hold of the landlords in the evening after, right around rush hour, and they're over by the bridges, Bridgeport, oh, then I can, maybe get them to get in there and give me the check. So I haven't got my check. That said, the lady that hired me, that had quit, was doing a little follow-up and asked her to open the envelope to check that I was paid correctly for that week, which should have been around $3,100 before the deductions. And look, 60 hours or something, 10, 12 hours of double time plus the 400 base. It was there. She says the check's for $1,700. It's like, what? So it's almost half, right? 15 would be half. 15 and a half would be half. So it's like, no, it can't be. But apparently that's what it'll be when I get it. So I've already sent off a letter saying, I guess maybe you guys have to split it over 2 checks. And, if that's what it is, that's understandable. That's fine. Here's my address. Actually, mail it to me. This is where I get it. So, nightmare. And then a couple days later, I get an email saying that someone on the crew had come down with COVID, and they weren't going to be able to shoot their day 12 or whatever. So I think there was more than 12 days of shooting to do. So anyway, so they were having to cancel before they finished up their shoot. Oh God! Now, Colorblind, I read the first. Well, there's 80 pages that was sent to me, and I read the first 40 on the very Sunday night just before I even went out there, just to have a good idea what was going on. And it was interesting. The reading was good. The story was good. It was, about a young child and his mom, and they were black, and their problems they were facing with a neighbor was what was mostly in the first 40 pages. The little boy was rambunctious, and he had great writing and great character. The mother seemed very great too. I'm saying this as I'm in the industry. It was well written. The characters were well defined. And the guy across the street, I always pictured him as that, the grumpy Clint Eastwood in that movie that he's done only a couple of years ago, where he was, at the house and kind of a grumpy older guy, but still with a soul. I think this guy might have a soul. I didn't get to the other 40 pages. Retired fireman, and just probably humanity-wise, he had racist issues, and but maybe hopefully heart-wise, hopefully it tied up in the other 40 pages that I guess I could read at some point. I still have them somewhere in the email. But so I thought the storyline was good, and then I watched how we're being treated, people, and so they're writing this and producing this and directing this with the idea of mankind treating other mankind correctly, properly, the way people deserve to be treated. And then they're mistreating their own people, where everyone's quitting on them and not being paid. Because I wasn't the only one. The lady above me didn't think she would see any of her money. She told me a couple of other people she hired hadn't even been paid at all. So it's like, and then the young little boy, he's a young little boy, so that, they're limited to 8 hours, and they're going to try to pretend that they only worked them 8 hours, but they forget I was working with the transport. I was part of the circus when people arrived. I was also the person that was unloading in the alleyway before they banned that, unloading the first week in the alleyway, unloading everyone, like not just equipment and food and all that stuff, but also the actors. so literally saw when they came and went, literally. So the transport guy, I think he was on his first job ever, seemed like a really great guy. He was like, I brought them at, and he'd tell me the hour, and now I'm taking them back at, tell me the hour. They were at least 2 hours over on the 2 days that I saw. So for him, because there's irony there, right? A big part of the story was how Black people aren't treated fairly, and down states it's huge, but even here it's a bit. Although I'd say the Native Indians are treated as bad here, and maybe Chinese as well. all wrong. But anyways, so here they are making a movie about, you know, and I'm thinking, if that had been a little white boy, would you have stuck to the 8 hours with him and his mom? Would you have allowed yourself to go over? So like, that's, oh my god. So here I sit, still haven't gotten my check to deposit, hoping if I get it, it doesn't bounce, and then hoping I'll get the rest, the other half at some point. I do think there'll be people going to the union on this because it's, it is union, it's ultra low budget, but they still have to pay their bills. If they go too big, that's their mistake. Which is why pretty much I was canceled now. Everything was kind of established with the setup and stuff. The only problem they were going to have was with the takedown. But maybe they had somebody in mind for the one day, or maybe they were even going to call me back. But if you're not going to pay me, you can't call me back. I've been out of that industry for a while, and yeah. Oh, and I mentioned about that lady that kind of was a little grumpy with me, and it turned out she was the second AD. So my standing up for myself probably didn't go well. She did approach me about kind of replacing the other girl, like she didn't have confidence in her, and there was reasons for that. And I just really tried to help her, and I will try to help her in the future if she wants to have any feedback. I don't know if she will though. She's a pretty proud girl, and there's nothing wrong with being proud. But she did struggle. Anyways, so she said, "Oh, I could work with you. You'd be interested in working with me." So I guess I could have been there that second week too. But now that I hear this COVID outbreak, I'm kind of hoping, and I'm not feeling bad. I'm hoping that I managed to avoid it with all that outside work I did. I barely was in the sets. I only went in the 1 or 2 times, and I was like uncomfortable to be there. I'd rather not be there. It was just so crowded in this little apartment, and just like. I'll just go outside and babysit all the equipment and all the other crew, make sure that they're quiet during the shooting and that kind of stuff. The regular PA stuff. Anyways, so there we go. Back at it, I guess, somewhat, but probably not in that field. We'll go back to hopefully doing some acting and pick up a few dollars here or there. Still enjoy the industry. I even find humor in the frustrating. Oh, and I did those hours. That was amazing for me because I haven't. I've had some health issues and literally broke my back. Haven't really worked since I done that. Well, I kept working when I had it done. Had broken it out of a truck that I was working in, but separately didn't do anything about it until COVID came around and some of us got reduced hours or laid off, and I was laid off. So went off for my physical and found out, oh, your back's broken. How the hell didn't you come in here sooner? Yeah. Anyways, all the best, everyone. Merry Christmas. All the best in 2022. Hopefully this world and everything gets better. Always look on the bright side of life. Cheers.